Hey, outlaws, and welcome back. Don't mind us. We just came back from a very long night of morning of hardcore, tight, hot gameplay. Anyways, so watching this coming out. One, I'm going to say I'm super disappointed with that Bailey countdown. I'll do another video on that. That was just stupid. Blu-ray. Anyways, so we're watching.
We got to share what my theory was about what the.
Okay, we can share your video. Your video of the Bailey or the
no,
countdown?
no, my theory of what the countdown was for.
Oh, I mean, I can tell you right now. Disappointment lies. Okay, so up in the right-hand corner is a piece of like leg or something that has ants all over it. And I want to talk about this part in the episode because you all seen the Eclipse plenty of times, blah, blah, blah. There's Femto, here's Void, here's the squiggly, puffy, floaty around dude.
Conrad.
Sure.
I think Conrad?
And Mr. Blowhard. And
Ibit.
then the only person everybody really cares about, Slan, for 2 reasons, maybe 3, 4. Lots of reasons. Anyways, nice hair. She has really great hair. Fantastic hair. Griffith could learn a thing or two about her hairstyle, her hair product too.
I don't know. Griffith has pretty phenomenal hair.
That's sarcasm.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, okay, so we got Griffith here. He's all beat up, and he is listening to Casca basically tell Guts that, hey, I'm putting you back in the friend zone. I can't go with you because I'm still more loyal to Griffith than you.
Griffith is so frail. I can't leave him.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry. She's bawling at first when she's telling Guts what her decision is. And then as soon as Guts is like, you know what, I'll stay with you. She's like, no.
She's like, no, you have to leave.
You have to leave. You have to go.
If you're really Griffith's equal, you have to leave. You have to go follow your own path.
Get out. It's like, okay, that's not what normal people do that's not what anybody does when they're in love. Unless they have serious issues. But even then, which sure they do, but honestly, these people. So here's a conversation I had with somebody recently online. They're like, "Oh my God, they went through war and they have trauma," and I'm like, "It doesn't matter. It does not matter." Okay, why? Because most people have trauma today. Have a lot of trauma because they had bad things happen to them. But we also have to remember that most people today have really good, easy lives. So when they experience something traumatic, it really shakes them to the core and completely warps them. Mm-hmm. Okay? Guts and Casca have been born and raised with warfare and fighting. And they're still young.
Yeah.
But the problem I have with they act weird because of the trauma. Okay, yes, but they also have been really toughened up physically and mentally due to the constant warfare and struggle that they've experienced in their entire lives.
It's true. I mean, and you can even tell that, when Casca is, pushing him away and telling him he still needs to go, that Guts looks really kind of, taken aback by that. And really kind of what? Really? She's really telling me, to leave and not stay with her?
Yeah, his facial expression is quite telling.
Yeah.
That is not the facial expression of a dude who's, a hardened, overly traumatized, I don't want to say it. Relationshiply damaged guy. I don't know. Wrap that all up, toss it out. That's not the facial expression of someone who is huh? I thought we were having a relationship. This isn't the face of a guy who saw Casca as a one-night stand. A hanky-spanky. Mm-hmm. A battle buddies romp in the sack. Okay? And I think people will get really angry about this. And they do. I know people get angry about this, but just, honestly, Casca just really isn't that into Guts. I'm not saying Casca's a bad person. Okay? Casca's very loyal to those she loves, which is Griffith. And to be fair, the Band of the Hawk, but the Band of the Hawk is also Griffith's dream. So that's why she was so loyal. That's why it's not surprising that when Griffith fell apart, Casca was the one who went to an extreme to take charge. I called her out for her bad battle decision, massing into one one big giant chunk force while you're getting shot down by longbowmen, and then having everyone charge while you're disarmed straight to the heaviest part of the enemy formation. And I did give her the benefit of the doubt that maybe she was going to have them flank apart or whatever. But to be honest, Corcus's idea was the best. Spread out, get out of there as fast as you can, because they can't cover everything, but they can cover one huge mass.
Yeah.
And they could definitely react to one huge mass. And everyone's saying, like, well, they couldn't stop all of them. Actually, they can. Especially when you're unarmed horsemen. Doesn't matter how hot shit you think you are. You're unarmed horsemen, and they have pikes, because they had entire pike formations in that long episode. Anyways, I digress. That's not my point. I'm not saying Casca is a bad person. I'm not saying I hate Casca. I don't hate Casca. Trust me. I don't walk around all day long and be like, how can I undo Casca today and make people angry? I don't agree with their relationship. And a lot of people have a really hard time with that. And I think that's the problem, is that a lot of the Berserk community we're very heavily divided. There's a group of people we're called super toxic, bad, evil, awful. It's like, not really. We're just calling it for how it is. And then we use our own real life experiences and what we've learned from real life and kind of like comment on what we see here. This is not how a woman acts who wants to keep a man in her life.
Well, also...
She would be... No. Hold on. Okay. She would be overjoyed.
Yes.
Do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
If Guts was going to like, well, actually, I will... She'd be like, I have to take Griffith. Can we take him with us? I don't want to leave him behind. I can't do this. That's not even a thought in her head.
Right. No,
and so it's like, well, that's because she's 16, 19-year-olds. Have you seen sexually traumatized 16, 19-year-olds?
Yeah.
They latch on to daddy like it's not even funny. It's actually really sad, because then that usually continues the cycle of abuse. That's not what she's doing.
No, I know.
She's latching on to Griffith. And the problem is that Casca's biggest character flaw and character trait is that she's too psychologically attached and infatuated to a very extremely unhealthy obsessive level. And to be fair, so is a large part of the Band of the Hawk, but that's because Griffith was their leader and he was very successful.
Right.
But she in particular, she kept on the leadership. She kept the Band of the Hawk way too close to the Kingdom of Midland. She should have branched way farther out. So many different things, because she was hyper obsessed with Griffith. And right now, she's further tearing her relationship apart with Guts, just tossing him to the side. And as we saw in the last episodes, right after they had sex, she tossed him to the side. Like, I'm done with you. You're trash. Get out of here. It's like, I need Griffith. People don't want to hear that. They get very angry. But it is what it is.
So I think that this is also something that it tends to happen a lot with the manga communities. So I never even heard of shipping until I started reading mangas. And I've noticed it's very much a thing, and something about the way mangas in particular are written, that people like to ship the main characters. You know, like, oh, I hope they get together. I hope they get together. Like, even if they hate each other, even if they're always fighting, even if they're not right with each other, even if one of the characters is really interested in another character who's not the main character. It's like there's the whole shipping thing. And it's like, so far, the only female who we've seen Guts have a relationship with is Casca. So it makes sense that people would be like, oh, they're meant to be together because that's the only person we've seen him with. But it's like, lots of people have like their high school relationships that at the moment seem like, whoa, this is so amazing.
Really
We're going to be together
passion.
forever. Yeah. And then life gets in the way. All these things happen, yada, yada, yada. You both go away to college. And then when you meet back up, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we're kind of different people now. And I think that's where we're at in the current place in the manga. Like, it's been years now since they had their little tryst, and they've both been through so much and are different people. Like, I think it's kind of unrealistic to think that they're just going to pick up and continue where they left off.
And I would argue as well, because someone else had a conversation about how she saw Guts as a dog, and, you know, loyally chained. Yeah, a dog. A dog. I think there's only, like, very sick people that are very, very attached to their dogs and do disgusting things with their dogs. Yeah, I guess a certain e-girl supposedly has been seen doing that, and that's disgusting. Ew. But I digress. So
Yeah.
she mentally visualized him as a dog dragging her coffin, chained, beaten, abused, and dragging absent-mindedly. There was no, oh my God, he's on a pedestal. He's an amazing man. Oh, he's the center of my universe. Oh, look at him. Oh my God, he's just so amazing. Like, a woman should be about her man, not viewing him as a dog.
Well, I know.
That drags her around like a good, loyal puppy. Well, let me finish. But who was the center of her universe? This guy.
Well,
who could do no wrong. And if he does wrong, I think one of the things that we're going to see, maybe, we don't know because Kentaro Miura is dead now. Okay, and Koji Mori and Studio Gaga can say and do whatever they want. I don't agree with Chapter 371. The past two chapters, I think Guts is suddenly like massive hit on depression is a little overkill. People don't like to hear that, but it's overkill. He's been through worse. If you don't like it, he's been through worse. It's ridiculous. Okay. Yes.
Okay, so one of the things, and I've seen people like argue about this in the comments, about like, oh no, like when Casca was in like the dreamscape, all of her memories were all of these things where she was like focusing on Guts, and he was in all of her memories. We also have to remember that that was being seen through the lens of Cherokee and Farnese, who only know Guts. So of course, in their analysis, they're going to be hyper focused on, look, this is Casca's memories of Guts. They don't know Griffith. They don't know Casca's previous relationship with Griffith. So of course, when they're seeing these memories, they're only going to notice Guts because they're both infatuated with Guts. So I think that's also, like, yes, I get it. That's what we're seeing.
Well, I wouldn't use the word infatuation because we use the word infatuation for...
Well, they both have crushes on Guts.
Crushes.
Yeah.
They're like Cherokee is like kind of like, oh, cutesy. I'm like, he's like a big daddy tough guy.
Yeah.
And Farnese, it's like, wow, he's freaking like,
yeah.
Oof. He's like changed me. He challenged my worldviews. He's given me purpose. I admire so many things about him. That's what we want on there. And I don't want to hear any more of this. Well, you said Farnese wrong. I've heard it Farnese. I don't care. I call her Farnese. Don't waste your time. Okay. What were you saying?
Yeah, so I was just saying that I think that's why we are getting that assumption that Casca was focused on Guts. And we also have to remember in that dreamscape, and this is always something that stood out to me, the little tiny chibi of Casca that's hopping around, that's going, I want to see him, I want to see him. Farnese never lets Casca finish what she is trying to say. I don't think that she was trying to say she wants to see Guts. I think she's trying to say she wants to see Griffith, because we have to remember Skull Knight's warning that what you want might not be what she wants. And I think we're getting mixed signals here, and we have not gotten Casca's true intentions, which probably is going to come out soon. I think there's a lot of misinterpretation, though.
There's a tons of misinterpretation. That's a lot of things people don't want to pay attention to because they don't want to hear it because they want to ship hard. Mm-hmm. Okay, and we're guilty of that too. Like I was giving the studio credit. I was giving them a chance. Like, hey, maybe your Balak countdown is something worthwhile. Maybe you're going to announce a new anime. Maybe you got to do something amazing. Like, you're calling all this attention to yourself. And then what do?
Blu-ray.
A freaking Blu-ray set.
Stupid.
And I'm a person that actually supports owning physical media because that way you own the product. Because digitally, you don't own crap. You're just giving them money. And they can take it away whenever they want.
And it's
but it's not like a Blu-ray?
And it's like you've also been broadcasting all of these episodes week after week after week. Everybody's been watching this. Yep. It's repeated media. Like, I'm actually like so sick of this arc. Because it's like we've watched it so many times now. Nobody wants to go buy a Blu-ray of this when they just watched it online, and it's something that they've already watched in other formats. Stupid. I think my theory was much funnier.
What was your theory?
So my theory was that this was really a very long, drawn-out plot of the God Hand, and that Griffith and the rest of the God Hand had implanted this story into the mind of Kentaro Miura just so that we could get to this point of having the countdown when the actual eclipse is going to happen and all of the Berserk fans are going to be sacrificed to the God Hand to give Griffith extra powers. That was my theory.
Very well. Carry on.
So, anyways.
You know, so yeah, we talk about it a lot, and people get really, really angry. Believe it or not, as trolly as I am sometimes, or funny or sarcastic, my aim is not to really tick people off. What's interesting is that when I first did this Berserk videos, I did it because I'm not that obsessed with Berserk. I know that's weird, and you're like, you're crazy, you're insane. There's a giant 48-pound sword behind you. I did it because I was like, it was interesting, and I thought it'd be a great way to kind of like talk about something that relates to my sword, and then have the idea about my sword thing go out.
You've also been interested in swords and swinging around swords ever since you were a kid. So your attraction was more like, oh, this is a cool sword.
Yep.
Here's somebody who can make a replica. I'm going to get that and practice swinging it.
Yeah.
Not like...
I got lured into Berserk through the Dragonslayer and the giant destruction and chaos that Guts unleashed. That's why when the 2016-17 enemies came out, it didn't really bother me. Because I'd seen way worse animation. I know what things metallic sound like when they're huge and they hit things. They're clanky. And I noticed that they put in some heavy metal, like battleships groaning. Some of the sound effects they put in there is battleships groaning. And this guy right here, when I hit things that are hard, it clangs. I think really it was just a bunch of YouTubers that got together, and what they'll do, especially their studios, especially if they work for a studio, they'll come up with an idea and they'll push it hard because they'll give them tons of views and clicks and whatever, and then they keep pumping it up and fanning the flames, and they'll follow whatever way they think the group's going. Here at Outlaws, we don't do that. Anyways, I digress. So we are kind of getting distracted from what I really want to talk about, and that's Griffith. Griffith in this scene is very telling. He overhears Casca telling Guts about that night on the Primrose Hall after he did Griffith's dirty work because Griffith was too cowardly to do it himself, couldn't figure it out. Mm-hmm. Guts went and murdered the Count and then accidentally murdered his son, accidentally. And he goes up there and he hears Griffith saying how a man's only his true friend, only his real equal if he has ambitions and dreams as big as his or follows his ambitions no matter what, even if he defies me. Not realizing that Griffith is speaking from his consciousness, yes, but he's also trying to impress little Miss Princess Charlotte over here. Mm-hmm. Us guys know that sometimes dudes will just complete BS. Just to impress a girl. And girls do it too. But for Guts, it shook him to his core because it also kind of exposed, like, hey, Guts, you're kind of just a tool. You're kind of just allowing yourself to be just the champion, just the weapon of mass destruction. And you're not really becoming anybody of your own. Which is also why Casca really isn't that attracted to Guts, because he doesn't have a real dream. Yeah, Casca and Guts share affection because they have been through a lot together. And there's some level of respect, especially in the martial prowess and warfare, but just there's not really much depth to Guts other than his ability to struggle and overcome. And what happens here in this scene is that Griffith overhears Casca telling Guts that, and that she knows that that's why Guts left, and Griffith has that moment of, what the hell, that's why? That's why that happened? Mm-hmm. And then he looks over his food and he sees ants. Ants as in these tiny, pathetic little ants. Ruined my dream because of something I said. And he's shocked. And then all of a sudden, poof, there it is. His young self. And Griffith starts to dream again. Because he overheard the ants talking about how they were going to pursue their own dreams, and them pursuing their own dreams destroyed his. And that is what reminds Griffith again. Yes, the God Hand pushed him here and there, but once again got Griffith going down the path of wanting to basically sacrifice and destroy all of his friends. And yes, it was revenge. Griffith also did revenge against Guts and Casca. Was it his own damn fault for messing around with Charlotte? Yes. Was anything else the Bandhawk's fault? No. In fact, I don't blame Guts for leaving either time.
No, yeah.
The first time, and the second time. And I'll do, one of these days I'll remember to do videos on that. I'm wanting to do it, but that's the biggest part we want to talk about, is it really showcases Griffith's true nature. And yes, Griffith did everything wrong. All right, hope we didn't go on too long of a rant.
Yeah.
As usual. Outlaws, we'll see you later.